So I've been microdosing skooma.
Have you? I feel like you're a big Skyrim fan, so it was only a matter of time.
It was, and Skyrim's been on my mind a lot. Met a new coworker, and for sake of privacy, they are pretty big in video games, and they're very excited about video game development. And I made a joke. I'm like, oh, so one day you're going to be fixing all of Bethesda's broken mistakes and broken games, and they go, yeah, except for Skyrim, because that's kind of its charm. And I immediately made a new friend. So I've been thinking about Skyrim a lot lately.
Skyrim is a weird fucking buggy mess, but it is very charming. I mean, every Bethesda game.
Skyrim
really
is like my favorite example of people in a community coming together to make something amazing and loving it, whether it was broken or fixed. For example, this guy wanted to make a whole mod around graphical increases, making everything just look better, render in a better quality. Some things were outright changing. Like he completely made some weapons and some models look completely different. But something happened, and for some reason, everything turned into giant, varying sizes of cheese wheels with smiley faces. And he just decided to release it like that.
Like that was, he just stopped midway and he's like, you know what? Cheese instead.
Yes.
I saw one where it replaced all the dragons with Thomas the Tank Engine.
My favorite one, it's funny you mentioned that, my favorite mod of all time in any video game, or it's actually not even a mod, it's just the mod idea. And it happens in every Bethesda game because there's an enemy type that's always like that, like dragons or death claws. And it's out there in other games too. It's turning them into Randy Macho Man Savage. But it's not just like the person, he's like stretched out to fit the model.
Yeah, I've seen that. God
that is
damn
the
it.
greatest thing ever.
I've seen Skyrim. There was
The
a
dragon
horse,
sab-
a
oh, the
horse
horse, yeah.
that it was literally just the model stretched over the same anatomy of a horse, and I was like, God damn it, this is terrifying.
And I imagine if real life could be modded. Like, to everyone's individual experience, something could be modded.
Just keep picturing that horse, and it kept saying, "Okay, brother."
Okay, bro.
I was
That's
like,
Hulk
God damn it.
Hogan.
Or what was it saying? It was something, man. What is?
Cream of the crop. You walk into 2019 WWE, you know that a cup of coffee in the morning is what's going to get Randy Savage going.
I'm a big Randy Savage fan.
Jesus Christ!
I love him. He's my
We
favorite.
made direct eye contact that whole time.
I did, because that's how he does it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the horse was making those noises, and it was terrifying.
Speaking of horses, you know how I like to bring up stories of things in high school that suck, like just out childhood.
Is it really speaking of horses, or was that just a really bad
continue.
thing? Okay.
It'll continue. I promise.
Okay.
There was a person, again, saving their identity. I'll just say they. For some reason, to make them feel special and individual, they were always talking about different things they saw on the internet. Fine. But one in particular, it was just their go-to, it was their primary weapon, was they like to talk about this video of a horse bukkake.
So I'd like to interject, and I'm hoping, because it can be a lot of different things. A horse bukkake, it could be multiple horses onto another horse. I'd like to think it's just a bunch of people onto a horse.
No, because poor horse. It's a bunch of horses onto one guy.
Okay, well, I guess that's like probably the most expected route. I was hoping it'd twist.
No, but
like sentient horses
you're
standing on their hind legs.
When you're like 16 and most of your life was just not that, it was a little bit unexpected.
Wait, why though? Like, why was this person interested in telling you about this?
Oh, because it was what made them interesting. That was the only thing they had going for them, was that they saw this video with a horse bukkake.
See, but the thing is, they didn't find that video randomly.
I know.
They sought it out.
There was something they had to have done to get a hold of it.
I'm sure they sought out other videos.
I don't know a single person on planet Earth, and you're right about that just goes, oh, a horse bukkake. Like, that doesn't happen.
You have to be seeking, brother. You got to be seeking some crazy shit for the horse bukkake. I've seen some, we've talked about 4chan a few times. I've seen some things on accident, people's heads getting chopped off.
Well, it depends on where you are. Like, you're not going to find a horse bukkake on TikTok, but you're going to see ISIS beheadings on Reddit.
Yeah.
It just depends on where you are.
Just depends on where you are, yeah. So, very, very weird. I hope your friend, who shall not be named, I hope they're doing okay.
I have no idea.
They haven't progressed down that dark path of horse bukkakes.
Last I heard, it wasn't down that path, but they took a left turn and it just didn't
Like to Furryland?
I don't know.
I don't know where you go after horse bukkake. Do you become a furry or do you become...
Well, see, that's the funny thing about furries, and we'll talk about this because
Be careful. I think most of our demographic is furries.
that's something that I think should be discussed, is that I think there's a defining line in furries, because the original furry culture, believe it or not, was like Walt Disney, just somebody who liked to draw anthropomorphic figures, which is fine. That's like, what was that? 70% or 80% of children's media is just anthropomorphic figures.
I don't know where it really, like when it started. I know that there's
Neither
things
do
that
I.
really made it skyrocket, but I think we've had conversations off the podcast about this before where I've met people who are very friendly, who are nice, sweet people.
Well, they're usually
And then
kind of humans.
Yeah, and then I find out, I had this buddy who, and he's still a buddy, but he is a furry. He's one of those guys. He wears like one of those dog masks and he wears a dog collar, and it's just bizarre. And he's a sweet guy.
It's like how
but
we talked.
How'd you get there?
It's like how we talked about on episode 2, that there are people out there that do how we see really smelly, degenerate things because we're locked in that mindset and they're in that media echo chamber, but they're happy. That's fine. But I do have one thought. It's like, yeah, that's great. Good for them. I'm glad they're happy. Not into it, but I'm glad they're happy and I'm glad they're experiencing something. But at the same time, it's like, does that make them into bestiality? Because even if you're not having sex with an animal, but you're having sex with somebody dressed up as an animal, isn't that the sexual attraction to that dog or cat or whatever, or that horse? Isn't that what that is? And isn't that animal cruelty in like everywhere?
Which is when I'm going to introduce our first guest, which is a furry.
If you get your fucking dog.
No, it is weird. I don't think that's the case. I think it's like this whole other thing. I don't think it has anything to do with bestiality. I think,
and I hope not. If it's just
Yeah.
them dressing up because they want to look like a cat or a dog, I won't do it. I don't necessarily.
but they want
wanna
they
take
want to
part.
look like bipedal. They want to look humanoid still.
Most of them, the characters are dressing up as are what they call an OC, or which is an original character,
Yeah.
which means most of them are artists, and authors.
I know some really fucking good artists, and they'll talk to me about it. They're like, look, I make good money, but I don't want you to see what I have to draw. People commission these things, and they're like, oh, can you draw me, fucking this other OC? They're a bunny rabbit, and I'm a moose. Make it happen. I'll give you $500. It's like,
Oh,
I guess.
you're looking at the low end of it. I had a friend in high school. She had to do the exact same thing. She was doing, this is not the horse bukkake person. That's a totally different person. And she wanted to do commission art, and she didn't realize how weird that realm is. And at first, it was just her. She'd make a logo or a background or something, or she makes people's OC. But usually it was like, can you make my Skyrim character, but a little bit more like true to form, how I'd like them to look and not the limitations, something like that, right? But she very quickly found that she made more money from like this one guy who was paying her like $2,000, like for one piece of work that was all just sexualized furry fantasies. And she was like, dude, I don't have to work at Wendy's anymore, or wherever she was working, because I could just draw this guy getting plowed by another fucking animal. It was like, she's like, it's disturbing, but it's like I'm not gay. $20 is $20. Like,
like, do what you want. It's just, I'm curious how you get into that headspace. It starts probably with anime or video games and things like that.
We should
My
get
Little Pony.
our first guest should be a furry.
I don't really know that many. And so it's funny because we all joke about it. Like, me and Chef joke about it, like cat girls and stuff. But there's like a line. Like, when they have cat ears, like, that's fine. That's safe. When they have a tail, it's safe.
What kind of tail? How is it attached? What's the interface?
It doesn't matter. We know the interface. When that's fine. When they have skin, that's fine. But when the skin gets replaced with fur, the nose, a snout, you're like, ooh, okay, wait, hold on, stop it, roll back a little bit. That's like fairy tale. So I want to see like a graph, like where does furryism start? I think there is a spectrum of furry interest. I guess I'm crossing my fingers I'm not on it.
Yeah. I mean, be careful. It's very dangerous ground to walk on. Everything we say is out of wild conjecture, not any insults or judgments.
I play a cat boy on Final Fantasy 14.
I know.
Am I a furry?
No, not yet. You're very early. It's like,
But it's like on set, right?
well,
it must be.
It's like a gateway drug, you know. Now it's just a cat character in Final Fantasy 14. It's just an MMO, but then it's your face on the side of a freeway for some reason. I don't know where I was going with this. Like those weird drugs. It's like when your parents talk to you about drugs. It's like, yeah, in the beginning it's just weed, but then you murder me in my sleep. It's like, no.
Speaking of, there was this girl. I wish I knew more about it. There was this girl that stabbed her little brother to death. And I saw this I was just like scrolling through TikTok the other day. I think it was yesterday. And it's great. Obviously, there was like mental issues there.
So here's the thing with that, right? What I'm about to say is probably going to sound like some crazy fucking, like, how could you say something like that?
Not excited to hear this.
Okay. But maybe this is just because I grew up being in a very loving family with my brothers, as far as that goes. So I could not imagine anybody doing anything to their brother or sister, regardless of how horrible they are. The worst I can imagine someone doing with their brother or sibling is just ignoring them for being awful people. But stabbing them to death, for me, I hope she gets the electric chair. I hope they bring that back just for her.
No. Well, not quite, because obviously she was like, if you saw the video, she's not all there. So it's like there is. Like,
I don't think there's an excuse, to be honest.
That's a very naive statement. It doesn't matter.
A life was lost.
A life was lost, yes, and she'll probably be in prison until she's 40, but she doesn't deserve to die. Like, that's silly. If a 40-year-old rapes and murders somebody, yeah, fuck him.
How old is she?
She was like 12.
Oh.
Yeah, with mental issues. Like,
I thought you were saying she was
she snapped. No, she killed her little brother. So yeah, she doesn't deserve the electric chair. That's a little.
I think her parents need to be consulted too.
Her parents were mortified. Like, it's not like her parents were like absent or something.
Well, I'm gonna say blame them, but I want to know, like, how long, what was the lead up to this?
Okay, well, chemical imbalance. Like, mental health is a thing. Like, if you're on the spectrum, you're on the spectrum. You know, it happens. You can snap and do something stupid. Nurture versus nature. It's not always, you know, biological. It could be because your upbringing, trauma, something like that. But when you're, you know, I think the big issue is maybe not the parents not raising properly, but the parents not recognizing mental health issues and not recognizing how to adapt and to cater to those, because a parent's job is the most crucial job on the planet. And these days, especially, you know, like my parents, maybe new parents might be a little bit better with it, but they don't think mental health is a thing. They don't think, you know, that.
What makes me feel better about that is when you told me that, not necessarily like the next generation of parents, but like, you're not even the same generation as me, but if you and I were to have kids, they would be in the same generation within the time span of me and you having them. Which, by the way, I'm pregnant.
Fucking knew it. I knew you were showing last episode.
This upcoming generation of children are going to be the most mentally aware, whether it's because their parents were the most like mental illness spectrum aware and they were able to take action, or the following generation picked up on the halfway mark and they took it the whole rest of the way.
Yeah, which is good and bad, because we have people that empower it. Like, man, social media is rough. It's like
social media is the most dangerous weapon.
It is, but it's also one of the most powerful. Like, you can give great information, be very helpful, but you could also be lying at your ass. And the amount of advice that people get from social media, half of it's good, half of it's bad, and they mingle it into one, and they create they create more issues for themselves because they don't want to seek professional help. But even
that's why Twitter sucks.
I mean, all social media, man. That's why it's really important to, like, we talk about echo chambers all the time, but to really expand where you find your information and cross-reference everything, because the amount of times I hear from anybody, especially working where we work, and the people I hire, I heard on TikTok. Well, I heard on TikTok, and I'm like,
do you hear anywhere
any
else?
Of them fucking professionals?
Yeah.
Like, I can scroll through and someone can be like, did you know that da-da-da-da-da, and like give me this whole synopsis, and people just comment and be like, oh my God, I didn't know that. And it's like, hold up. are you sure that was real? Like,
My
make sure
favorite
that
thing-
was actually a thing.
My favorite thing about spreading information in general and collecting it is that a lot of people will just read a headline and they'll be like, yep, that's the news, and then just move on, which is funny because there'll be instances where that's crucial. So a very recent instance is I woke up and I was on Google just early this morning because I think I wanted to look up some weird garbage as I usually do.
Horse bukkake.
I was that friend. I'm schizophrenic. No. No, I was looking something up about eggs because I was curious. I was curious on what classifies as a large egg because when I go to the store, oh yeah, these are grade A large eggs. I'm like, I've never seen an egg smaller than this.
And they're the same size.
I mean, the same size.
Dude, it drives me nuts. That's
don't
a
get
good
it.
question, but let's save that question. Move on.
So when about the news thing, and whenever I go on Google, it'll like post a little like headline with the news. It's like, oh, we think that you'll want to read this. And it said Arnold Schwarzenegger. It was Arnold Schwarzenegger. It was a picture of him and Bruce Willis, and he goes, Arnold Schwarzenegger says that Bruce Willis will be missed. And I'm like, did this guy fucking die? And I look it up. Bruce Willis isn't dead. He about a year ago or so was diagnosed with like early onset dementia. That was like a very specific form, and it was early, and they said that it could progress. And it's now progressed. He's now like incapable of like handling most jobs, and all the headlines, every single headline that I could see was all saying the exact same thing. Whether it was MSNBC, CNN, Fox News, like all the headlines, same like a variation of like 5 different pictures, but they all had the exact same headline except for that one that Arnold Schwarzenegger. They all said some quote from his daughter, and the lead up to the quote was all the exact same, and that bothers me. That bothers me that they will either spread the same factual evidence or they will all post just the exact same thing.
Yeah, it's clickbait. It makes it, and it drives me nuts because, like you said, people will only read the title, and 9 times out of 10, the title is so misleading.
Oh, it is.
You'll find out all the information as soon as you read the article. No one reads the article, and I mean, like it's silly. It's a weird tactic, but it makes sense. I mean, we've been doing that since the fucking dawn
on YouTube,
of
that's what
literature.
like, the thumbnails. It's like, Cody and I go to the mall and buy a shotgun from GameStop. Red circles, arrows, gone sexual crazy. You have to see to the end. Sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends. And then we'll get 100,000 views, and it's just you and me walking into a GameStop and going, "Oh, can I buy a gun?" And the guy's like,
No.
Like,
Yeah.
no.
But I mean, it's smart. And I actually like YouTube thumbnail culture is hilarious because it's like, it's meant to be misleading. You're supposed to like click on it and be like, okay, I got you.
I think it was like Jake Paul or Logan Paul or some figure like that. Like someone asked them, was like, hey, how does it feel to know that you do this kind of thing for advertisement? And he's like, do you know how fucking rich I am?
Exactly. Like you can't like what? It works.
You know, Benjamin Franklin was known for fucking bitches on the daily. His receding hairline, bifocal wearing ass.
Well, he was a smart guy.
He was a smart guy, but he was getting with girls on the daily because he was rich.
So I mean, back then there wasn't. That was the easiest way to get women. I'm sure it still works today if you have money, for sure. Back in the day, that's all there was money and security.
It's
so
like, I like this guy. He looks like he's pretty good. He's tall. He's like, he looks pretty well kept. I mean, he's got varying funguses growing around, but yeah, he's cool. I throw Benjamins around every day.
Which one's Benjamin?
The 100.
The 100?
The big one.
Oh, the big one. Yeah,
The big one.
I never have cash anymore, dude.
Really?
Never. It's so fucking bizarre.
I carry cash all the time because I feel like it's mandatory. I feel like it's just
you
right.
will get rid of that feeling soon. I thought when I was like a working young adult in my 20s, I'm like, oh yeah, I'll always carry cash. It will leave. Don't worry. As soon as you get Apple Pay on your phone, you're just like, oh fuck, this is so easy, dude. It's give me convenience or give me death, dog. It's like, it's too easy.
Okay.
Give it a couple more years. The dollar is going to be gone. Martial law will be introduced.
You know what's really funny about... Please, no. Don't do that. You know what's really funny about you saying that? I was reading about money, and I was reading up about... Because I always thought when I was young, what I was taught was that the dollar was backed up by the gold standard. Incorrect. Then I was taught that it was backed by oil. That's also incorrect. But then no one ever taught me what it was backed up. I was like, so what's it backed up by? And they went, huh?
Nothing.
It's backed by your trust that the dollar has value. So therefore, the dollar and Bitcoin are the same fucking thing.
Dude, it's weird, man. It's monies doesn't exist.
Yeah.
It's printed when it's needed, and it's passed around when it's needed to be passed around.
So, streaming.
Yep.
I'm about to start doing it.
Welcome to hell.
And this will probably go out after I start, now that I think about it.
Yeah, probably. I mean,
go watch me at twitch.tv/AuzisandAI. There we go. Isn't that what they all say?
yeah.
Yeah. So
A little thing will pop up somewhere on the screen.
oh, sweet. That's awesome. We've talked about it before. We actually talk about streaming in the internet a lot. What do you think is the worst thing that someone has done on stream? Like breaking terms of service?
Well,
thing?
I know of a few stories. Lots of sexual stuff.
Really?
Someone received a blowjob on stream.
What?
Lots of nudity stuff. Some of it accidental.
Nip
Some
slips?
of it, maybe what somebody is wearing, they're doing it to be alluring. So it's like there's a
So
possibility
like
of that.
Amaranth is a high risk for possibly having a nip slip.
Yeah, of course. There could be, wardrobe concerns with her outfits, sure, but probably not much happens. She's been banned a few times, but usually it's like a 24-hour ban. A lot of stuff that happens on accident, you don't get permanently banned. When it's more like hate speech or something, like you're out of there. So
What's considered hate speech on Twitch? Because I've heard people say some fucking concerning things, and they're just like, yeah, okay.
Well, you have to have the audience. If you're not getting reported, then Twitch doesn't know. Twitch doesn't have this like all-seeing eye. They will transcript. They can transcript your audio and stuff, and if you say like a racial slur or something, they can find out about it. But you have to be reported. So like if Asmongold said a racial slur, of course someone in that 30,000 people is going to say something. Or today, fucking 80,000. He's killing it. But if it's like me, not saying I do, but I could get away with it because, I mean, when you have to apply for partnership, you have to, they will go through all your VODs to make sure you don't say anything.
They can see your VODs, because even though like I'm not affiliated, so I can't see any prior streams that I have done on the same account, but like the moment I'm affiliated, I can, right?
Well, up to, I think when you start, I think it's like 20 videos at a time.
Yeah, but Twitch can see them day one.
I think they host up to a year.
Okay.
Yeah, so they will get rid of them unless you're a partner. I think if you're a partner, a contracted partner, you have all of your VODs. So, but yeah, they go through that. They go through your Discord. Like, I have like a meme section, or we have a meme section in the Glad Friends Discord that you don't frequent. And I'm always worried there's going to be something. I've had to delete some, but like, yeah, if I ever got like partnership or something, they'd have to go through that and be like, there's risque things in there. We throw around jokes that are childish and silly and fucking awful sometimes, but nothing out of the ordinary of the internet.
Okay.
You're like, shit, I got to clean up my Discord.
Well, like they check your account, or they check like your server?
Anything that's connected to your channel. So, like, say if you were getting a partnership, they would go through the Glad Friends Discord.
Okay, because I don't plan on opening my own Discord. I plan on just piggybacking off the Glad Friends, since that's the hub of everything we do. Okay, so that makes me feel better, because I have a bunch of Discords with my.
What about your Twitter? Do you got some bad things on Twitter?
I don't post on Twitter. I'm gonna start.
I have. I mean, I joined Twitter when it opened in 1995. No, but I'm afraid I definitely have said some stupid things on Twitter. Like, when Twitter came out, I was like 15. I'm sure I've said something fucking dumb, but I don't want to scroll all the way back. That's a lot, man. That's a lot, but they'll go through it.
So I have a question for you I've been pondering for the last few days, and the whole car ride here, I was like, damn, I got to figure out a good way to ask him, and there's no good way for me to ask you. What was the Great Depression like?
That's a dumb fucking question, but I'll tell you what I liked about the Great Depression. I think the Great Depression was a really fun era. Like, there's a lot of cool things about it.
What I find funny is that the 10 years leading up to the Great Depression was called the Roaring '20s.
Yeah.
And it was people partying, getting fucking crunk. That's where the lifestyle of not being strapped down to a single person for your entire life, like the first girlfriend or first boyfriend you have is the one forever, that was getting abolished. And then I hope you know, right after that, people were poor, the world fell apart, World War II happened, the 50s came, men were beating their wives, women continued to beat their wives, and then the 60s happened, and now we have Twitch. and OnlyFans.
Which Twitch and OnlyFans both, I think, was 1962 when both those dropped.
Yeah.
And it's been great ever since. It's a trip, man. It is a trip. And the Roaring 20s, and then obviously Prohibition and stuff, like, it was a really weird, because then all of a sudden it was illegal to drink, and you had to like go to these underground hidden
Speakeasies.
bars.
You know what's really funny about that? So I was reading about, or no, I wasn't reading actually. I take that back. Amanda, my girlfriend, was talking to me about Prohibition. The reason Prohibition even started is that women were tired of men, their husbands, going out and spending their entire wages on drinking. They were going homeless. They couldn't afford food, clothes for their babies, nothing. And so women were like, dude, I need to fucking exist and I can't have a job. Something has to happen.
Yeah, you couldn't have a job back then.
Women physically were not, it wasn't that they like couldn't work, like they couldn't pick up a shovel or they couldn't nail a hammer. They were literally, men said, you can't do that.
Well, can you stop drinking? No.
So then they made it illegal, and then
yeah,
suplex.
Yeah, it was rough.
Yeah, dude. Okay, so have you ever seen what professional boxers looked like in history? Because boxing is like the oldest form of sports, next to like marathons.
I know they looked. I don't know if this is a trick question. Weren't they like a little bit like stouter and like?
They looked like you.
Yeah. Well, it's mean. Go ahead.
But I mean, they
move
weren't.
on.
They weren't like today, where they're rocking a hard six.
Yeah, they're a little chunky. Yeah,
they were a little. They were like what like athletes look like. Well, like
this motherfucker calling me fat.
I'm not calling you fat. I'm saying that they had like the same body type as you, and they always were like this.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to know what it was like for their wives.
Scary.
It's got to be scary.
Well, God, man, it's
history is a fickle thing.
Dude, we're just shitty people, man. Men are shitty. America's shitty. Like, we had some dark times.
Remember when America was seen as the greatest country on planet Earth because they beat the British?
I mean, we have been the greatest a few times, I think. I think we're leading, if we're talking like sovereign countries, I think we're leading in obesity. We're not really the best anymore. There's a lot of other great countries that are killing it.
So, speaking of statures and fatness, I ran into a guy the other day. And I was like, hey, how's it going, sir? And he goes, not doing very good. I'm like, oh, what's wrong? He goes, I'm short. Women don't want me because I'm short. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's not the reason, but continue.
Is this a real conversation you had with a random
conversation.
person?
In my head, I didn't say, I'm pretty sure that's the reason. In my head, I said that. But
you're like, what's wrong with short people? You got defensive?
I was a little taller than him, and I was like, oh, well.
Oh, so he was like 5'2".
Oh, he's like 5'2", yeah. So, God damn you. It's revenge. But I asked him, I'm like, oh, well, what's going on? And he goes, anyone above 5'7" is deformed. I'm like, how are they deformed? I mean, I'm like, I've seen tall people that are deformed, but they're like fucking huge. So there's, of course, some deformities. Like, you ever seen Andre the Giant? That guy ain't normal. And he goes, they're all Nazis. And he pokes his head over to my coworker, who's coincidentally above 5'7", blonde hair, blue eyes, and fair skin. And I go, do you mean Aryan? And he goes, that's what they tell you.
Yeah, everyone blonde hair, blue eyes is a Nazi, I guess.
Yeah, it's born in their blood. So imagine, like, I can't imagine, like, I think
genetic.
It's genetics. Like, you're born, and then you just got, like, in your eyes, your pupils are just shaped in swastikas, and then they slowly form into circles. I think that's
like
what
the Nazi
he sees.
Sharingan.
Yeah, he's the. I think that's what this guy sees. And I didn't say anything. I was just like, oh, yeah, okay. And I was just like, well, I'm really sorry to hear that. What can I do for you? And then he just continued on. And then I said, all right, I'll have everything out shortly. And he goes, yeah, shortly.
Like you guys are on the same fucking squad.
Yeah. Like we're on the same team here. Yeah. You're like 5'8", or 5'10", aren't you?
My ID says 5'10", dog. We'll just leave it at that.
My ID says I'm 140 pounds. And that's a lot. No, I'm not. It doesn't say that.
Yeah, no, I'm 5'9".
And a half.
And a half, yeah.
So, the whole like Riz culture that's existing right now. Like, you gotta Riz her up, or you gotta be the Rizzler. Well, this one guy had this whole joke and about him, he's like trying to Riz this girl up, and he's like, what do you rate me out of a 10? And this girl like was not giving in. She was already like interested, and she was playing into it. 30, and he's like, this isn't how this is supposed to happen. And he goes, how tall do you think I am? And she goes, you're like 6. And he's obviously not 6 foot. She's just like playing with him. And it's so funny. And then she just backs out and then just broke this guy's heart. We will fall for any step that is given to us. Every inch that we're given, we will take a mile. And I think that's the disease that I think America suffers from. Is every inch we're given, we take a mile.
Yeah, well, I was only given a couple inches.
It's average.
Yeah, which is average. But I'm so distant from like hookup culture, so like I have nothing to add. I watch anime, dog, and I'm a furry.
I can
guess.
tell. You're out of shave though. That's about a lot.
No, yeah, I mentioned shaving last night in stream, and all of my furry watchers. I'm just kidding. They're not furries, but you know, a lot the gays don't want me to shave.
Are you a bear?
I was told that if I was gay, that I'd be a twink, and I was honored by that, because that means I am small enough to be in the twink category, not the bear category. So I was honored.
Because you were looking in the mirror and you're like, damn, if you just suck dick, you'd be a bear. But then they go, no, you wouldn't. You're a twink.
Yeah, I was honored. I was I enjoy being rooted in the gay community.
I was in a Discord call with a friend of mine, or actually it was a bunch of friends, and I had said some deprivating joke to my girlfriend because she was there too. and my friend, she goes, I swear you only get away with this because you're bisexual. And I said, what? She goes, yeah, you're bi, aren't you? And I went, no, I'm not bi. And she's like, so you just straight and hate women? I'm like, no.
Your girlfriend said this?
No, my friend, she thought that I was bisexual.
I think you're closeted.
My girlfriend 2 years ago said, oh, I thought you were, she goes, when I first met you, I thought you were gay. Do I look gay?
No. So I'm going to be honest with you. You don't give a gay vibe, but you give a very, like, I don't give a fuck vibe. Not like a badass vibe.
I'm scared.
No. Listen,
I'm
this
scared
is
that I'm
good.
going to be told one day that I have, like, I'm not saying like it's a bad thing to look like your one sexuality over another, but how weird it is that anybody can just like, because they all say it with like such a high degree of like certainty. It's like, oh yeah, you're gay, right? No, and they're like so surprised.
It's okay. Don't be afraid of that. Give it 30 years. Everybody's going to be pansexual anyway, so don't even worry about it. The line is being thinned day after day, and I think it's great, but you give the vibe of individuality. You're hard to gauge because you're so comfortable in your own skin. Maybe you're not on the inside. Like, I don't know if you have like issues with that.
I mean, I'm a little hot with these lights, but I'm good.
Yeah, but you give off that vibe of like comfortability, and that is a gay trait.
You told me once because you're laughing at me.
And you'd
something.
be a twink.
I know I would be.
You are a twink.
Do I look? No, I'm seeing reality. All my weight.
You're a good-looking twink.
All my weight. Thank you. All my weight is in my ass, so that's why they can't see anything right now. I look. It sits out like 10 feet. Like, yeah. The reason, and I think this is a lesson that can go for everybody. So I'll spin this into a positive light, even though we're not very positive people. And it's that no one else is gonna be as bad of a person as you are. You are the worst person you could be, so be it. Wait,
bizarre advice.
Wait. No, it's you are the only version of you that you can. Let me flip through my notes. No, it's no one else is going to be you but you.
Okay, that's a much different statement.
Yeah, don't try to be someone else because you're going to suck at being someone else.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Don't, if you want to be good at something, be yourself.
Yeah,
that's how I think about it. I'm me, and that's what I'm good at. I'm good at being me. And even though I'm not a very likable, interesting guy, I'm me.
True. Yeah. No, I think I really envy that when, like what we talked about in it's just because I finished editing episode 2, so all that conversation's like fresh in my mind. But we talked about people being comfortable in their own skin and how we kind of make ourselves worse people by trying to appease to other people. There's very few people in my life that I grew up with that just never changed, and I really am envious of that. Like I look at them. I have a buddy named Austin who has not changed at all. He works now. Like he didn't have a job for most of our friendship.
Like how he was in high school.
But he lives exactly the same. But I kind of like that it's never changed. He wears the same fucking t-shirts. He is fucking still smells. He still plays video games every day.
Did you ever see the movie The World's End or At World's End or something like that?
Yeah.
It was with Sean Penn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. That's literally all that movie's about, is that he's reliving his days in high school, and that's all he wanted to do.
That's all he wanted.
And at the end of the movie, what does he get? He gets that. So your friend is living his best life. And I hope you know that most of the things you said, I think you're looking in a mirror. You're still playing video. You're still playing video games every day.
I put myself in that category too. I haven't changed much either. In fact, I think I think there was an era where I wasn't comfortable in my own skin, and now I am.
Yeah, it's a good thing.
And that's my 20s. My 20s fucking sucked. But I think now I'm like, I don't care. You know, I like having Dragon Ball figurines all over my apartment and playing video games.
What's the white stain on Gohan's hair, by the way? I'm still trying to figure that out.
You know. Oh, God. It's weird that that's a thing. Like people being sexually active with their figurines.
You know,
very strange.
You know that guy that sat on that jar, that mason jar without the figurine in it?
What are you talking?
There's a guy.
Was this under the horse bukkake post?
Yeah, it was in the same. It was in the same subreddit. No, there's this guy that he made his whole life. He did not exist to my knowledge prior to this. He spawned in and just shoved a mason jar up his asshole. It broke shards. It was disgusting. Blood.
What was the figurine?
I don't remember.
Okay.
And
I'll look it up.
He keeps making jokes that he'll do it again. He'll like post TikToks and under different accounts of like him and hovering, like they'll just be a mason jar on a towel, and you'll just see two fucking like feet walk by and look at it, and then walk by again, and it just says soon.
That's genius.
Okay, but do you think that he
terrifying?
Do you think he walks into like a Smith's or a dollar store, like trying to buy mason jars, and then they just like, I know those fucking knees, get out of here. Like
call the cops. The mason jars guy here again.
Yeah.
Get him out of here.
No, or like, have you seen the people that are like, over the course of 3 years, you can't see the figurine in the jar anymore?
Ew. That took a second. I'm like, what do you mean? Jars are see-through. Oh, fuck. Yeah, that's disgusting.
There's like this meme that I have on my phone that I'll send to friends to gross them out. It's a jar that's finished, and it's just like, he's playing some like Mario game or whatever that allows the amiibo, and just picks up the jar and scans it, and it brings up the fucking girl, like the dog thing from fucking Animal Crossing.
No.
Isabel.
How do we circle back to furries?
I don't know. We should get Funko.
What is up with this episode?
We should get like Funko Pops of you and me, like U2s or something.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of cute.
That is funny.
Yeah.
Maybe one day. Whew, man, that's terrifying.
It's scary. The people always talk about like dedication being the scariest thing that a human can do, and it is, or a person can be, is like how dedicated they are. And there is nothing more dedicated than spending a course of 3 years every day nutting into a mason jar until you can't see the contents of it.
Yeah, and like even small mason jars.
Oh yeah,
volumetrically are very efficient and hold a lot. Jesus Christ.
Are we okay?
But you're right, man. Eggs being the wrong size.
Yeah, I don't.
Fuck that, dude.
How you doing? Actually, I never asked.
Doing good, man. I'm taking most of the week off next week.
It's good.
Taking
a little
a sabbatical.
Yeah, it's nice.
And for lots of reasons, I feel like I'm behind on editing, behind on just like I'm really behind on music stuff. So music stuff will be nice to take some time off. No, but I'm excited. I'm excited to just like buckle down and just work on some stuff in some peace and quiet.
Do you know why I can't take vacations? And if anything, they're just like a day or two.
Same, but continue.
Because I do the exact same thing on a vacation that I do on a day off or after work.
Yeah,
it doesn't
same.
change.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like it's wasted. I've taken days of vacation, but they're always unpaid. I've never taken paid vacation. I've built up hours and hours, and I just waste them because I know I'm not going to get paid. I don't feel right getting paid, which is going to sound silly. It's like you're taking time off anyways. I don't feel right getting paid for something that I am going to be doing whether I got paid for it or not. That doesn't feel right.
Whether it feels right or not, you work at a job that gives you accrued time, so definitely use it. It doesn't disappear, but definitely don't let it just sit there. That's stupid. It's free money.
No, I know it's free money.
Even if you don't want to take a day off, fucking, you're working X amount of hours, add a vacation day.
Just throw it in there.
Throw it in there for some more money. Who cares? Yeah. But yeah, I'm excited. I don't think, this is probably the first time I think I have taken like a week vacation, maybe like, 4 or 5 years ago when I first got the job. But it's only ever been like a couple days at a time. Even this sabbatical is technically only a 3-day vacation. But it's attached to my days off as well, so it feels like a 5-day vacation. So
yeah. Are you going to do anything exciting, at least in this time, other than catching up on stuff?
I'm going to play lots of Diablo 4. lots of Tears of the Kingdom, catch up on videos, for sure, and just relax, man. Just relax and.
They're gonna be streaming it all. You're gonna take the time.
Oh no! I'm gonna be streaming.
Okay.
I enjoy doing that. That'd be weird to skip out on that. I've never felt like I needed to take like a mental health break from streaming, which is good. I don't stream that much.
Well, I feel like
comparatively
streaming
speaking.
is, people say it's very stressful, and it can be stressful, especially if it's something you either don't know what you're doing or it is your full-time job. And if it's not like Asmongold, he can one day quit streaming because he just doesn't like it anymore and it's overstressing, and it's not going to kill him because he makes enough money for it. But if you made like the wage that you do now at your current job as streaming, you could never take a mental break from it, even if it is stressful, because that is literally sufficing you just barely.
Yeah, but most people who are successful with streaming and content creation, they have other avenues.
Yeah.
Like if there's a Twitch streamer that's only relying on Twitch subs, like that's a bad move, missed opportunity. Like I know, like Caleb Hart, love him to death, one of my favorite streamers, but I think that's all he does. And yeah, he's making probably 13, 15 grand a month, which is great.
Amazing, yeah.
But if he stops streaming, that money stops. Well, not really, because those subs, a lot of people just don't turn off those subs. So it might go down to like 10 grand a month, which is still fine. Then maybe dwindle down to 5 grand a month. And then it would take probably years for it to eventually become something poverty level. But there's people that only do that.
Do you know what I would do if I ever so there's people that will hit it big. They'll be struggling to even get viewers, and then the next month they make like 10 grand. Because it happens, and it's crazy that it does, but it does happen. That 10 grand, I'd immediately invest.
Yeah.
Because I think that the wisest thing that I could do is if streaming does not continue to work out, because you're not guaranteed immediate success.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's actors will get a great role in a movie, Academy Award nomination, and then their career does not exist after that because they don't want to get hired, because no one hires them.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing with streaming. People all of a sudden like, hey, people watched you play Dead by Daylight, and now you don't want to play that, so people don't want to watch you. You told me about that, your buddy that had that. He's like, I just don't want to fucking play this game anymore, and it sucks. And I feel like there's only a handful of games out there that have that playability or extended longevity.
Oh,
like
yeah.
Final Fantasy, like MMOs are great for that because they'll just always add
They'll
something.
have content for years.
Oh, yeah. MMOs are like Netflix. There's always another thing to watch.
Yeah. Weird analogy, as always, Oz. But yeah, I think, investing is smart. Anything that, like, we talk about passive income all the time, like, that has to be, like, if you are just relying on your bi-weekly paycheck or your monthly paycheck, if it's Twitch, like, you're in trouble because that is not foolproof. What if Twitch just disappears? What if there's some crazy lawsuit? Twitch's gone. Like, you're fucked. Like, always have a backup plan. Because look at like the people that like jumped onto fucking Mixer, or look at the people that were making good effort on Hover and that just disappeared. Vine fucking disappeared. Like, think of those nerds making millions of dollars on Vine, gone.
Do you know what happened to Vine? Vine got bought out by another company, became Musical.ly, and it traded hands with another company again and became TikTok. So people like Vine was better than TikTok. TikTok is Vine. TikTok I don't think is actually all that bad. Like in the beginning when it was derived from Musical.ly, it was awful.
Oh yeah,
but
like lip syncing and shit, dressed up as fucking furries.
Your For You page is usually what's defined as it being garbage.
Yeah, if it's garbage, it's probably because
it's you.
You're garbage.
Do you know what my For You page is?
Yeah, I know exactly what your For You page is.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fucking guns, cowboy boots, fucking
no.
horse bukkakis, mason jars shoved in people's asses.
Okay, well, one of those is correct. I met somebody and they were like, dude, TikTok is garbage. Look at my For You page. Yeah, they're always giving me weird shit. And it was just girls, just like possibly underage. Like, that's a big thing.
Oh, yeah, that's an issue. TikTok has some weird things that leak through there, but otherwise, a genius platform. It's rare when you see a platform succeed. And become a titan, and TikTok definitely has become a titan.
I feel like TikTok originally was going to be like a fad, like it possibly.
Yeah, I felt the same way.
But now it is out. It's too big to fail. Like, there are companies out there that could lose billions of dollars and just go, okay, we'll just try again tomorrow, and then they'll be fine. Disney, TikTok is technically one of them now. YouTube could be one of those. Twitch. Twitch is just nothing but money.
If we're talking social media platforms, I wonder which one brings in the most money. I would probably say it probably is Twitch, because there's things that are on the site that take money from the consumer and pump it into the website immediately. So I wonder if they do have like a really high like fucking mark for like incoming funds, because it's got to be crazy. I mean, even Asmongold, streaming in front of 80,000 people today for the Diablo 4 release. I mean, it'll probably get to like 120. That's a lot. That's one streamer bringing in that much money. It's fucking insane. Absolutely insane.
That's wild. You know, it'd be cool. I think it'd be cool for this podcast just to kind of derail it just a little bit.
Continue.
I was waiting for you to say what. We need a third person to join Glad Friends as the brand.
That's what we don't put me on the spot like that. Is this gonna be like a joke? No, it's not your
fault. This isn't your fault. I'm saying that it'd be cool for us to stretch as wide as we could to get more influence from another person.
Oh yeah, well of course. I mean, I went over like other people I want to approach about it and stuff, but that shit takes time. If you're gonna make me really uncomfortable, be like, I vote we do this, and you do this on camera, that's really mean. So
it's like proposing in public, and it's like the girl doesn't want to do it, but she feels forced. No. So I have a list of ideas to go over.
I have a list of friends and family who are somehow watching this live.
Yes.
And I'm gonna say no in real time.
No. No, I just think it'd be cool to get a third person. That'd be kind of neat.
Yeah. For sure. When I don't live in a 1-bedroom apartment, there's a lot more room for growth.
Yeah.
But I mean, podcasts are usually host co-hosts. That makes sense. As far as Glad Friends having content creators underneath its banner, the sky's the limit. I want lots of people, like when they click on the link tree for Glad Friends, I want there to be a handful of creators. I would love to have like a team of people, but I'm so picky, and I picked you for the podcast because you're good at talking, and obviously it's mandatory you also fucking hustle and do other things. Otherwise it's just laziness and unacceptable as far as other people go. Yeah, I'd love for them to be a part of it, but I hate feeling like they're not as into it as I am. You know what I mean? Like that's the killer, is when it's like some of my closest friends, when so it was Hookshot Retrospective was supposed to be Glad Friends. We talked about that. There was a middle section called Lore Collective. That was the second attempt for Glad Friends, Lore Collective.
That's kind of a cool fucking name.
Yeah, it was cool, and it was about 6 people, 6 content creators, and I didn't want all of them, but I agreed on all of them, and it was me and my buddy Ian, and I trust and I would follow Ian into the fucking depths of hell because he's so smart and so talented, but not everyone was as into it as me and Ian. I had very strict ideas. He had very strict ideas, or he had very like loose ideas. He was very into the idea, but he's like, oh, anyone can be a part of it. And I'm like, pump the brakes, buddy. Pump the brakes. It can't just be anybody, because then it becomes this product that's not consistent. I want the product to be consistent. And because of it, Lore Collective went nowhere. And
so anybody could be a part. So I think this is a good idea. Anybody could be a part of Glad Friends. You could be a part of Glad Friends. You can be.
It only costs $16.99 a month.
Exactly where I was going with that. Exactly.
No, I think there should be definitely other creators, and when you're partnered, you can have a stream team. I would love that to be, a big jump in numbers for people that want to join. Sure, that's awesome. But as far as like content creators, I can't have it be like, and this even goes for you. Like if you said, oh, Cody, look at this web series I have. And what if it's like just so off brand for Glad Friends? I'd be like, okay, well, is that a part of like Glad Friends? Like, or is that separate? Like it's a hard conversation to have.
Yeah.
So it's like with other people, and as soon as you say, okay, you're a part of Glad Friends, they're like, okay, well, now I'm doing this and I'm going to put the Glad Friends name on it. It's like, what if that's not good enough?
Like if I, okay, so here's 2 examples, I think, for where you're going with that. Like it's not good enough for Glad Friends, or it's too off the path of Glad Friends.
Maybe not good enough, but yeah, too off the path.
But like something that wouldn't be like sufficient for quality was if I was playing like the biggest game on the fucking planet at whatever that time was, and I was streaming it, but the quality was garbage. Everyone's watching it in 240p. the audio is 8-bit. That's not quality, right? So I think it's a cool idea to have everyone with Glad friends onto a different subject. Like, you're playing weird JRPGs. I'm over here playing like Western shooters and stuff like Call of Duty. No, I'm not gonna be playing Call of Duty, but I'm playing like Hunt Showdown, Escape from Tarkov, a lot of Overwatch lately actually, and Payday. Then you got someone else that's over there going through all like the old Nintendo games. They're going through like everything like from the 90s even. Like cool stuff like that. Like, you have other avenues for people to watch Glad Friends. It's just not necessarily the same thing.
Exactly.
And I think that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, one of the best examples I always think of is not because I fucking am in love with him and I want to suck his dick. I mean, if he learns who I am and he wants to take me out to dinner, that's fine. But Asmongold and OTK, I think like, I always get inspired. Like, my first inspiration was like Cold Ones and like Max Mofo and Anything for Views, and then OTK. I'm like, damn, it's so cool. Like, he runs this organization and it has podcasts. Now he has Starforge Systems. He has a PC building company. It's like, fuck, it's so cool having like this banner that can do whatever the fuck it wants. I'm always down for people wanting to be interested, but I want lifers, I don't want people that are like
part-time.
Yeah, or just people that like, because I'm not anywhere. It's not like people joining Glad Friends is going to help me out, because it's fucking bare bones, bottom of the barrel right now.
But the more people that are doing stuff in advertising for Glad Friends, the bigger opportunity it has to grow.
Yes and no.
The louder the minority, the more the majority will hear.
Yeah, true. As long as it's quality. That's the only thing I want. As long as it's good shit.
So to end this, I want to end it with a question. A submission for a contest that I want people to be a part of. As soon as you're done drinking your bottled urine.
This is not bottled. I just pissed in the cup.
Recycling. Reduce, reuse, recycle.
A contest?
It's a contest.
Like a battle royale?
Kind of.
A blood sport?
Almost. It's a submission for society's biggest haters. So a friend of mine, she didn't introduce the contest, but I introduced it to her, and she said she thinks Asmongold is the biggest hater because he hates on everything she likes. I think it's a little personal, but okay. I know he hates on Blizzard a lot.
He only likes a couple things. I think he likes...
Which makes him a good submission for being a
poorly
hater.
Cooked steaks and fucking living in filth in World of Warcraft. I think those are the only things he likes.
Well, Diablo 2. Diablo 2, not Diablo TO.
Yeah, only Diablo 2.
Yeah. One friend, his submission was Dio from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Man got adopted by a family.
What
after
are we
his
talking
father
about? Oh, these are the biggest haters.
Biggest haters.
Okay, Asmongold, Dio. Dio should be number one. He fucking hates.
I submitted Eddie Brock from for Spider-Man 3, the Sam Raimi one. Man literally did not exist prior to Peter Parker. He was birthed from Peter Parker's success to be his hatred, the yin to the yang. And then when he failed at everything Peter Parker succeeded in, strictly because he only lived for spite, he went and prayed for his downfall and said, "Dear Lord, please kill Peter Parker." Who goes to church to pray on someone's downfall?
Yeah.
That's a fucking hater-ass move.
Yeah, you got to be in a dark
you gotta
place
be
to ask God to kill somebody just because they're successful.
Yeah, more successful than you in an area that you barely might even be related to. So who's your submission for the biggest hater?
Biggest hater? I'm thinking of like people that I actually know.
They could be real, like one friend introduced Asmongold. They could be fictional, like Eddie Brock or Dio.
Biggest hater.
They could be a character.
A lot of my friends hate everything, just to be assholes.
Old Italian moms, they hate everything their sons do. I come from an Italian family, so I know that.
You look super Italian.
Do I really?
No, fuck. That's
I'm
confusing.
not Italian at all. My girlfriend's family's Italian, so I learned a lot from them.
I don't know. Biggest hater, man. God, fucking might be me, dog.
You have a lot of love to give.
I do, but I hate piss poor opinions.
Like, I've gotten one hug from you, and I think about it every night. That's the love you gotta give. I've gotten one hug from you, and I think about it.
You gotten one hug from me?
I've gotten one hug from you.
Have you?
Yeah, one.
Okay.
I won't tell you when it happened.
I'm a hugger too. That's weird.
You're a hugger, and I've gotten one. It's okay. That makes it more valuable.
It's fucking disturbing. I mean, another big reason why I wanted you on the podcast is because I'm 90% sure you're going to turn into a murderer, and I don't want to be on your list.
So you're just being nice to me? Okay.
It's deep-seated fear.
So you went from 4 and then like quickly, like you were working your way down. Like I didn't even think about you on the list. Like I got some people pretty high up. I got some like, honorable mentions, and for a while you weren't even on, and you just struck right back to 3. Right? Just for telling me that.
It's good. Is higher number good or bad?
You're in the top 5 of people that I want to get.
Okay, that's fair. As long as I have time, give me a little bit of time. Maybe I'll fix that number.
As long as you're not within the top 2, you'll get a letter of warning. Like I'll send you a letter and be like, "Hey, in 24 hours, I'm coming for your ass," and then I'll be coming after you.
Yeah, this episode got weird.
This did get weird.
Talked about furries. Talked about fucking mason jars filled with semen. Talked about murdering people.
So on the next,
we're going to be on some ban lists. I think.
The next merchandise line for our lad friends, can we
fucking giant jar?
I was going to say, can we release mason jars that say pre-filled?
God damn it!
Do we have a refilling service?
No. Just a giant mason jar of mystery liquid.
Can we make it like
above it says
Obama for a 3rd term?
Hey!